And this is the nugget for you parents. You need to figure out what God has called for your child. You need to put them in things aligned with God's vision for them. Like, don't lean on the world. Don't say, this is a good occupation. This occupation makes X amount of dollars. You need to figure out what God has for your child. Why? Because the child is on borrowed time. You're responsible for guiding that child in the path that God has for them, not to create your own path. It's not to celebrate your accomplishments as a parent. It's to celebrate what God wants to do in that child. So you got to step back. You got to look at that child and see what God has for that child. And also, as children, listen, you need to be bold. You need to have a relationship with God to tell your parents, Mom, I understand what you're saying, but this is what I feel God is calling me to. Now, your actions, your attitude, your consistency has to align with that, but you need to have the boldness. Listen, all of the world is going to try to dictate to you what you're going to be and what you're going to do in life, but you need to have the boldness to say, no, listen, I heard from God. You go to a church that train you how to hear from God, that sit you under teaching, that incline your ears to the voice of God so you know what God is saying. You know his voice. So you stand before your parents, you stand before all the influence of the world and say, listen, this is what God has for me. I'm not walking no one else's path. I'm not stepping in no one else's shoes. This is my path. This is what God has for me.